June 12th, we flew to Johannesburg, South Africa via Dakar, Senegal. The morning after we arrived in Johannesburg, we departed on a tour of Pretoria and Soweto. The South African government is in the process of renaming the city of Pretoria to Tshwane. Pretoria is the administrative capital of South Africa, where the executive branch resides. The legislative capital is located in Cape Town, and the judicial capital is located in Bloemfontein. The union buildings house the offices of the President of South Africa. Soweto, short for Southwest Townships, is South Africa's most famous township. These townships were originally created during South Africa's apartheid era to house black Africans who were evicted from designated white areas. Both Desmond Tutu and Nelson Mandela lived in Soweto. Also located in Soweto is the Hector Peterson Museum. It was built to honor a 13-year-old boy who was shot and killed by police during the 1976 Soweto uprising. On June 15th, we flew to Botswana. Our hotel, the Chobe Safari Lodge, is located along the banks of the Chobe River. There are many wild animals which roam the grounds of the hotel, including vervet monkeys, baboons, banded mongoose, and warthogs. Shortly after checking into the hotel, we went on a boat cruise of the Chobe River. This is not a bald eagle. It is actually an African fish eagle. Buffalo are one of the animals known as the Big Five. The other members of the Big Five are elephants, rhinos, lions, and leopards. Winter is the dry season and the game density greatly increases along the riverfront. Chobe probably has the highest concentration of elephants in Africa. They often come down to the river to drink and bathe. There are many hippos that reside along the Chobe River. When they are frightened, they run toward water. Due to their surprising speed, they are widely credited as killing more people than any other mammal in Africa. We had an option to either go on a boat ride across the Chobe River to visit a Namibian village or to go on a morning game drive. I decided to go on the game drive. Many interesting birds can be seen in Chobe National Park, including helmeted guinea fowl and red-billed hornbills.
Then the mouse is going to sun that tree home.
The most common type of antelope found in Chobe is probably the impala. They are sometimes nicknamed the Big Macs because of the striped M on their behind and the fact that predators eat them all the time.
You see that is a young boys.
Kudu are one of the largest types of African antelope. Their spiral horns are very noticeable. Kudu meat makes good sausages.
dance. That time. Let's enjoy that.
Vervet monkeys are very common in southern Africa. They are quite mischievous. Baboons are the largest type of primate in southern Africa.
Oh. Girls behind.
While baboons mainly live on the ground, they often go into trees to avoid predators.
One of the trees was spot. And once they spot, those ones that they went up, once they spot in there, they'll make an alarm.
That is a water. Are you okay?
Just wait.
Giraffes can be found in the center and northern parts of Botswana. Their tongues and mouths are quite leathery so that they can eat thorny plants.
Sorry?
In the afternoon, we went on another game drive. Crocodiles and monitor lizards can be found along the Chobe riverfront.
Watch those guys how when they're walking, how they lift up the legs. They lift the legs up at the same time, at the same time. So that they lift them to that side and to the other.
Vehicles have to watch out for elephants and other animals crossing the trails and roads. One elephant got particularly annoyed at us. It trumpeted and did a mock charge. Unfortunately, I was taking still photos and was not able to get any video footage when it happened.
Excitement, so they're just excited because they're reaching the destination.
I went on an optional photo safari. The custom-designed flat-bottom boats had swiveling chairs with mounted cameras that had 500mm lenses. This allowed us to get very close-up shots of animals along the Chobe River. After the photo safari, we drove to Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe. The Victoria Falls Hotel was built in 1904 and was the very first hotel built in the city of Victoria Falls. It was built during the time Cecil Rhodes was unsuccessfully attempting to build a rail line connecting Cape Town to Cairo. Zimbabwe was formally named Rhodesia after Cecil Rhodes. Victoria Falls lies on the Zambezi River at the border between Zimbabwe and Zambia. David Livingstone was the first European to view Victoria Falls in 1855. Although not the highest or widest waterfall, Victoria Falls is considered the largest when combining its height of 354 feet and its width of 5,604 feet. Rain jackets and umbrellas are highly recommended when walking along the trails near the falls. Unfortunately, the spray can be so great that they don't help very much. On the Zambian side of Victoria Falls on Livingston Island is a naturally formed Devil's Pool. When the river flow is below a certain amount, adventurous swimmers can go into this pool along the edge of the falls. On June 18th, I went on an optional helicopter tour of Victoria Falls. After the helicopter tour, we visited a craft market.
Take a picture.
Later in the afternoon, we visited a school and in the evening attended a home-hosted dinner where mopani worms were served. We spent some time walking around town during our last full day in Victoria Falls. In the afternoon, we went on an optional Zambezi River cruise. This is an African finfoot. They are very secretive and are a prized sighting for birders. In the evening, we had dinner at a deck overlooking a gorge downstream from Victoria Falls. On June 20th, we drove across the border to Zambia and then flew to Kruger National Park in South Africa. At our hotel, the Protea Kruger Gate Hotel, we saw some thick-tailed bush babies. These small nocturnal primates are called bush babies because their cries sort of sound like a human baby. The next morning, we headed on a full-day game drive in Kruger National Park. Kruger is South Africa's largest national park. It is named after Paul Kruger, who was president of the South African Republic between 1883 and 1900. The animal density in Kruger did not seem as great as Chobe National Park in Botswana. Still, we did see plenty of giraffes, some water bucks, elephants, vervet monkeys and baboons, many different birds, hippos, and crocodiles. While driving along, we encountered a hippo quickly crossing the road.
Bunch of them lying all around.
Yeah, and
Yeah, me too.
there is a picture too, sir.
During this game drive, we encountered one rhino, but couldn't see it very well since it was turned around. We also saw some blue wildebeests. They are well known for their huge migrations in eastern Africa. Kruger has some large herds of zebras. Besides acting as a camouflage against predators, it is believed that their stripes also help them attract fewer blood-sucking flies. During our last full day at Kruger, we went on one game drive in the morning and another one in the afternoon. We were able to see a few rhinos during our morning game drive.
Normally longer and thinner. You see this guy also is big,
He's huge.
then he's got that hump.
During the game drives, we also saw more giraffes, a side-striped jackal, and lots of kudu and impala. In the afternoon, we finally saw some lions. The pride was off in the distance and just looked like rocks on the riverbank to the unaided eye. From Kruger, we flew to Cape Town and then drove to Stellenbosch. Stellenbosch is located in the Cape Winelands region of South Africa. It was founded in 1679 and is considered the cradle of Afrikaans culture. Stellenbosch is well known for its university. We visited a wine estate in the area for a wine tasting and lunch. Later, we visited the town of Franschhoek, which was founded in 1694 by several French Huguenot families by the Dutch East India Company. After arriving back at our hotel at the Spear Wine Farm, we had a wine and chocolate tasting. On our way back to Cape Town, we passed by many slums or townships, also known as informal dwellings on the outskirts of the city.
Spreads tremendously, so you need to have fire marshals within the community that can help evacuate. You need first aiders on the scene.
Cape Town is famous for some well-known landmarks in the vicinity, including Table Mountain and Cape Point. It was originally founded in the 1600s as a supply station for Dutch ships traveling to East Africa, India, and the Far East.
They built a replica of the one that the Colombians came through it and sailed it. So that is why they did sandstone from there. Then at 1 o'clock you have the City Hall of Cape Town.
After a bus tour of the city, we stopped at Afro Gem. Here, some members of the tour group had an opportunity to buy jewelry with extremely rare tanzanite gemstones. We also stopped at the Victoria and Alfred waterfront. The waterfront is named after Queen Victoria and her son Alfred. Although it is an active shipping harbor, the V&A waterfront was redeveloped in the 1990s as a popular shopping and dining area. Took about a 30-minute boat ride to Robben Island. In the 1630s, a penal colony was established on the island. In 1960, Robben Island was taken over by the South African Prison Service.
2 seconds it will be off. And ever as the rough seas, Uncle Peter is the gentleman who teaches me that bucket is still in.
Through the years, it has held many political prisoners, including Nelson Mandela.
Yes, as much as 30% some say of our constitution through these discussions were first thought of in the cave.
The island was turned into a museum in 1997 and was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1999. This cell is where Nelson Mandela spent most of his time in the prison.
Gas capsule in the back was designed by Chobe after Massimula, who was a member of the
After returning from Robben Island, we visited the Szymanski Diamond Museum at the V&A waterfront. On our way back to the hotel, we passed by the Bo-Kaap district in Cape Town. The area is well known for its brightly colored buildings. Its residents, known as Cape Malay, were originally descended from Dutch slaves brought in from other parts of Africa, India, Madagascar, and Sri Lanka. the afternoon, we walked around the area known as the company's garden. This is where the South African Parliament buildings are located, as well as many museums. The Castle of Good Hope is South Africa's oldest official building and was completed in 1679. On Friday, June 27th, we left on a full-day tour of Cape Point. One of our first stops was at the Cape Point Ostrich Farm. The ostriches bred here are sold for their meat and to make various ostrich leather products. Unfertilized eggs are used to make decorative artwork. The Cape of Good Hope was originally called the Cape of Storms by Bartholomew Diaz when he first reached it in 1488. It is actually not the southernmost tip of Africa, but it is where a ship would start to travel more eastward than southward while rounding southern Africa. In 1982, a colony of African penguins settled at Boulders Beach near Simonstown. Ever since then, it has become a popular tourist destination. We were originally going to the top of Cable Mountain earlier during our stay in Cape Town, but couldn't because of the weather. The weather finally decided to cooperate, so we were able to take the cable car to the top of the mountain. Table Mountain rises about 3,563 feet above sea level and provides an excellent view of Cape Town and the surrounding area. Dussies, also known as hyraxes, can be found on Table Mountain. Because they have poor temperature control, They like to catch the sun while lying on rocks. Despite their appearance, they are the closest living relatives of elephants. On our last full day in South Africa, we boarded a boat in Hout Bay to go on an optional tour to Duiker Island. Duiker Island is also known as Seal Island due to the many seals that reside on it. Kirstenbosch Botanical Gardens was the second part of the day's optional tour. It was founded in 1895 by Cecil Rhodes. The gardens became South Africa's 6th UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2004. Most of the plants in the garden are native to South Africa. The King Protea is the national flower of South Africa. The tour of South Africa ended on June 29th. We flew from Cape Town to Johannesburg and then back to the United States.
Mm-hmm.